Hello, my name's Simon Jackson. Thank you for watching this video showing the installation of a Z slide upgrade for the Anycubic Photon standard model, not the S. As you unpack, you can lift up the whole mechanism in one. There's nothing else in the box. I've wrapped it in corrosion inhibiting paper and oiled the slide, so it should be okay when you get it. There's an anti-backlash nut and some lithium-based grease. The linear slides may feel slightly gritty or may feel a bit stiff, but they'll run in fairly quickly. These are the tools you'll need. It's quite a good idea to cut a piece of card of the sizes shown. It's about, I can't read my own writing, what is it? 11 by 17 centimetres, 4.5 by 6.5 inches, just in case anything drops onto the 2K screen. There's a 2.5mm Allen key, 3 and 4mm. I like to use the ones with handles on, and a magnet helps it hold the ferrous screws. So, place the cardboard protector in place and remove the build plate assembly. Then remove the 4 screws that hold the build plate bracket, the blue piece, onto the silver carriage. This next step is a lot simpler than the original Anycubic, official Anycubic video showing how to fix Z-wobble. Instead of removing the bottom cover and releasing the whole mechanism and top plate, sliding it forwards, we're just going to undo the 2 screws that hold the stepping motor in and lower that down carefully, so it doesn't crush the wires behind it or pull its own wires out. There are 4 screws that hold the carriage onto the nut. Remove those and you can lift the blue carriage straight off. The nut that's fitted as standard is plain. It's not an anti-backlash nut, and there's not much length of thread, so provided in the Z slide upgrade kit is an anti-backlash nut with an uprated spring to ensure that there's never a race going on between the carriage falling under its own weight and being forced down. It's always being forced. Through the port in the rear you can easily access the 4 screws that hold the existing carriage, the existing Z rail in place. Remove those and hold on to the rail itself with your other hand, and you can just lift it out. I just move the stepping motor over so that the lead screw is at an angle so it doesn't foul the Z slide when it's lifted. Remove the top plate, discard the old carriage, remove the original nut, degrease the Z rod, just wipe the worst of it off at any rate. I suppose if it was really dirty you could use some solvent, but don't let it get down into the motor bearings. Assemble the nut, making sure that the dogs are aligned so that they can slide into one another. Grease the screw. Right. Screw on the bottom one. Press the top nut onto it and then rotate the screw. Seems to be the simplest way to get it on. And you should have about 0.5 mm to 3.5 mm of gap. Certainly there should be some overlap and it shouldn't be solid. Fit the blue cap onto the new Z rail. Fix it to the end. It's only got 2 holes. There are 4 holes in the other end. Position the Z slide approximately. Turn it around and you can feel the screws in the screw holes. Fit all 4 screws. There's no alignment detent as such, so it's not a bad idea to just have a look and make sure that the thing is roughly, the new Z slide is positioned roughly parallel to the planes of the casing or of the LCD, i.e. it's not twisted round at an angle. Refit the blue build plate carrier. The nut is tapped M3 and it will centralise itself well enough. There's no need to worry about precise alignment. Refit the screws that hold the opto switch in place. Incidentally, the blade should be in the same position it's always been, on the underside of the blue carriage. The function of that blade is to interrupt the infrared beam in the opto switch. Refit the 2 screws that hold the stepping motor in place. You can reach through from the back into the hole that was covered by the grill to lift the motor and move it about until the screw threads engage. Refit the 4 carriage fixing screws, they're the original ones. Refit the build plate. At this point you can refit the rear grille with 4 screws. Right, and on to the Z calibration. I usually make sure there's no dust or dirt either on the screen or on the paper itself. And you'll see here that I'm using an EZZ0 adapter rather than the original ball device. I found that the ball device for me didn't lock very securely. I didn't actually press the stop button there, I was just hovering over it out of nervousness. Yeah, personally I recommend the EZZ0, but that's a matter for you, obviously. So the sliding of the paper is as described in the Photon manual. So once the carriage had stopped, I went down a further 0.3 of a millimetre, something like that, and then set the tightened up the screws and set the position and went to home, set that as home, and there we are, all done. Thanks for watching.